And we are back. NFL predictions week 2. To recap last episode, I ended up going a whopping 15-1 on the week, which obviously put my season to 15-1. I also got my lock of the week right, which was the Philadelphia Eagles. The only game I got wrong was the Ravens-Bills, which I did pick the Ravens, and they almost had it. I was that close to a perfect week, but they unfortunately weren't able to pull through. But hopefully we're able to repeat the success and hopefully able to go 16-0 this time. Anyway, starting out, we have the Commanders and Packers, September 11th, 8:15 p.m. All games are in Eastern Standard Time. Both of these teams coming off of wins last week against their division foes. The Commanders 21-6 over the Giants, and the Packers 27-13 over the Lions. I'm personally going to go with the Packers here. With this being a night game in Lambeau, it is probably going to be a bit chilly. Not the coldest game, but definitely probably long sleeves for visiting teams. I think the Packers will have an advantage here. They just looked better in their week 1 debut against a better team as well. I think the Packers are going to win this game. Now, this is, a short week, so anything could happen as well. Moving on to our 1 o'clock game. Starting out, we have the Giants and Cowboys. This should be a fun one. Both teams 0-1, both losing to division foes. We just talked about the Giants losing 21-6 to the Commanders, while the Cowboys actually only lost 24-20 to the Eagles in the game that was actually really close. The Cowboys played right till the end, respect. I'm going to go with the Cowboys based off of the same thing. Russell Wilson, his debut as a Giant, did not look great. It sounds like he's going to be the week 2 starter, so we're going to need to see a big improvement for him to, arguably keep his job. Meanwhile, the Cowboys actually looked pretty good against the reigning Super Bowl champs, so I see no reason why to go against them here. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys. Moving on, we have the Seahawks and the Steelers. Seahawks losing to the 49ers, while the Steelers with an impressive 34-32 win over the Jets. Now, the Seahawks actually played pretty well against the 49ers in terms of it being a division game, 17-13. It wasn't a very entertaining game by either team, either side of the ball. Meanwhile, this Steelers-Jets team, it was all offense. I'm personally going to go with the Steelers here, mainly because of that offense. We didn't see much of an offense for the Seahawks last week. If this Steelers offense is able to continue to do what they do last week into this week, which, to be honest, probably won't be as effective, but I still think it will be effective. I think this will be one of those where both teams will, have a good chance at winning, but the Steelers will ultimately come away with the win. Maybe it will be another Chris Boswell go-ahead field goal. Moving on now, we got the Rams, who are 1-0, coming off of a 14-9 win over the Texans, and the Titans, who are 0-1, coming off of a 20-12 loss to the Broncos. Now, what needs to be said here is the Rams, they got the win, but they did not look very good in it. The Titans, they lost, but they actually looked pretty good, only losing by 8 points and holding that Broncos team to 20. That is very, very good. I am going to go with the Rams. The Rams are just the better team. I think this defense is going to once again give Cam Ward's nightmares. They have the reigning defensive rookie of the year, in Jared Verse. I think Matthew Stafford's going to play a lot better now that he knows the back injury severity. He'll definitely be able to game plan more around it. So give me the Rams. Bills and Jets. This on paper will be a fun one. The Bills 1-0, coming off of a 41-40 comeback win over the Ravens, while the Jets 34-32 lost to the Steelers after the Steelers came back on them. They're 0-1. I think this is going to be a pretty convincing win for the Bills. I know on paper this looks like it'll be a good game because both teams just had high-scoring, games and really close ones against decent teams. I mean, besides the Jets, all these other teams we're talking about, Ravens, Bills, Steelers, they made the playoffs last year. I just don't think this will be very good. I'm going to take the Bills. I think the Jets peaked week 1. They're probably going to take a step back, but they'll ultimately recover and probably finish around the 7-10 mark like they normally do. Patriots, Dolphins, a little division game between two teams who definitely underperformed to expectations. The Patriots, 20-10 loss to the Raiders. The Dolphins, 33-8 loss to the Colts. I'm taking the Patriots. The Dolphins looked like the worst team in the league, and it wasn't even close. And I don't think it will get much better for them. I think they are probably going to be cleaning house after this season. Coaches, players, whatever it may be. I'm taking the Patriots, and I think this one will actually be surprisingly close, but I don't think there's a world where the Patriots lose, assuming they stay healthy. That's always going to be a situation now, is injuries. Jaguars, Bengals, both teams 1-0. Jaguars, nice convincing win over the Panthers, 26-10. On the Bengals, slugfest 17-16 win over the Browns, where they relied on a few missed kicks in order to win that game. I'm going to go with the Bengals here, strictly because the Bengals always struggle in week 1, and they got the win, which was huge for them. And last time they did, they ended up making the Super Bowl. I think they're going to ride off that week 1 momentum, especially now week 2. They tend to normally play better, but still struggle in terms of getting a win. I think they broke that curse with that week 1 win. I'm taking the Bengals here. But I think this will be a very fun game. Back-to-back number 1 picks, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. And even Trayvon Walker as well. Can't forget about him. 49ers, Saints. 49ers 1-0, 17-13 win over the Seahawks, while the Saints 20-13 loss over the Cardinals. I think this game will actually be surprisingly close. I know people are writing off the Saints, but they actually played really well against the Cardinals, who went 8-9 last year, and in my opinion, were only going to improve. So the fact they are able to hang in literally till the very end is amazing. Meanwhile, the 49ers heavily struggled against the Seahawks. They lost George Kittle. He's been put on IR. He's missing at least 4 weeks. And then there's a bunch of other concerns. A few guys they've actually ended up signing. They cut Jake Moody, signed Eddie Pinheiro. They cut Robbie Chosen. They signed Kendrick Bourne. A lot of new guys entering the building. Could create some chemistry issues. But I think the 49ers are just a significantly better team, even with those struggles. I think they'll get another close win. Browns, Ravens. I don't really want to talk about this one. The Browns 0-1 with a 17-16 loss to the Bengals, while the Ravens 0-1, 41-40 loss to the Bills. I think the Ravens are going to murder the Browns. I think there's going to be arguments that, who's the best college team right now? Ohio State, one of those guys, sure, should be in the NFL, especially Ohio State, because they're right there in Ohio as well, should be in the NFL instead of the Browns. I think there'll start to be arguments. I think the Ravens are going to destroy the Browns. I could be wrong, though, especially if I talk all this smack and they end up losing. Bears, Lions. This is a fun division one. Two teams who are 0-1, who have definitely something to prove as they lost in their division. The Bears, 27-23, I believe. 27-24 to the Vikings. While the Lions, 27-13 to the Packers, they lost. I need to quickly mention this. I know in my last video I mentioned the Bears and we're going to win their game. If you actually check my Twitter or X, whatever you call it, YoshiZ_YZ, if I ever do change a pick, I'm going to announce it there. There's a whole tweet talking about it. So just know I did change that pick. In case you're like, well, you actually picked the Bears. I did, but I changed it, and there's proof about it. I'm taking the Lions, though, with that being said. I think this will be one where the Lions just really can't afford to go 0-2. The Bears kind of don't really matter. They kind of are this way every year. But if Lions fans start out the season 0-2 after going 15-2, already having the same amount of losses they did all year last year in 2 weeks, I think they're going to be fuming. So I'm taking the Lions here. Moving on to our 405 games, we have two of them. Broncos-Colts being the first. On paper, looks like a good one. Battle of the Horses. Broncos 20-10 or 20-12 win over Titans. Colts 33-8 win over the Dolphins. I'm taking the Broncos here. I think Indiana Jones is a one-week wonder. I think he'll definitely, perform decent, but it's not going to be nearly to the same level that he did before. I think the Broncos are going to win this game by 2 scores probably, and it's going to be one of those where on paper it looks kind of close, but it wasn't really close. Panthers-Cardinals. Panthers 0-1. They lose 26-10 to the Jaguars, while the Cardinals 1-0 2013 win over the Saints. I'm taking the Cardinals here. I don't see any reason why the Cardinals are going to lose this game. Bryce Young struggled week 1. I see him definitely improving in week 2, but it won't be enough to really get them a win. The Cardinals, same thing. I see them improving in week 2, especially going back-to-back against, questionable opponents who really have a lot of iffies. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. So much so that they are my lock of the week. You heard it here. Every week, in case you don't know, I pick one team and one team only to win their game. It's if you've ever seen the Eliminator Challenge on like ESPN, it's that. Last week I picked the Eagles. This week I picked the Cardinals. The only catch is I can't pick the same team twice. Obviously, in the Eliminator Challenge, if you get it wrong, you're done. For me, I just go the whole season, picking new teams, and see what my record is at the end. So, give me the Cardinals. Moving on to our lonely 425 game. It's a big one, though. Eagles-Chiefs. Eagles 1-0 with a nice win over the Cowboys 24-20 on the Thursday night opener. The Chiefs, well, they lost to the Chargers 27-21 on the Friday night opener in Brazil. I think this will be a good game. Obviously, it's a Super Bowl rematch. I think it's going to be a lot closer than the actual Super Bowl, but I still think it's going to be the same winner. Give me the Eagles. Falcons-Vikings for Sunday Night Football. Falcons 0-1 after a missed field goal would have tied the game, sent to overtime. They lost 23-20 to the Buccaneers, while the Vikings, 27-24, come from behind win over the Bears. I think this will be a very good game. And I do think Michael Penix is going to win the battle of the quarterback class between him and McCarthy. I believe they only went one pick apart as well. So, going to be, should the Falcons have taken this guy instead? Give me the Falcons. Monday night, we have two of them. We don't normally have two of them. First one at 7 p.m., we have Buccaneers-Texans. Buccaneers 1-0. We just talked about it. 23-20 win over the Falcons, while the Texans, they lost 14-9 over the Rams. I'm taking the Buccaneers 100% here. I think the Buccaneers, it's week one. Everyone struggled week one. Week two, now that you have a game under your belt, especially getting that nice win, they're going to ride that momentum, get a second one. Meanwhile, the Texans, they have just looked mediocre ever since, rookie C.J. Stroud ended. Now that they're on to year two and, now year three, it just hasn't been the same. And I think it's going to be a real struggle this year, and people are going to realize, maybe he isn't as good as we thought he would be. And then, give me Buccaneers first off. Finally, Chargers-Raiders. Both 1-0, both picking up good wins. Chargers especially with a division win already against the Chiefs. Raiders, nice win, 20-10 over the Patriots. I'm taking the Chargers here. You don't beat the Chiefs and lose the next week. And if you do, you're going to get embarrassed. How did you beat the Chiefs, but you lose to the Raiders? Give me the Chargers. But to quickly recap, the teams I have winning the games are the Packers, Cowboys, Steelers, Rams, Bills, Patriots, Bengals, 49ers, Ravens, Lions, Broncos, Cardinals, Eagles, Falcons, Buccaneers, and Chargers, with the Cardinals being the lock of the week. If I didn't say the team, it means they're losing. There's no bye weeks yet. I think the first one's week 5, week 6, somewhere around there. I do have the playoff picture, but we're obviously so close in, it doesn't really matter. But just in case you care, the teams undefeated are the Bengals, Steelers, Colts, Jaguars, Bills, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, Packers, Vikings, Buccaneers, Commanders, Eagles, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams. So those 16 teams are right there for the playoffs. All the other ones are 0-1. So, but anyway, I will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed.